Another test run in the North Face Vectiv Pro 3 here. 5 days before Beaverhead. Really trying to finalize my decision on my race shoe. Check out my Vectiv Pro 3 first run video a couple days ago out in Sandpoint, Idaho. The track, well, at least compared to this run so far, much more technical, and I was kind of unsure of this shoe on foot now, especially going down. A lot of action, the dual plates, very high, 43 millimeter at the heel. Also very soft and energetic dream foam here. I have narrowed it down between this shoe, the Tecton X3, and I'm considering the La Sportiva Prodigio Pro. The route I'm in the middle of today is 7.5 miles out with 3,600 feet of gain, and then turn around and come right back down to the trailhead. I started at Ravine Creek near Missoula, Montana. I'm not exactly sure which trails I'm covering right now. I kind of just mapped out a route on Gaia and put it on my watch. One advantage that the Pro 3 has over the Tecton X3 is foothold and security. I mean, even with that high level of action underfoot, the plates, the foam, the softness, all that, the upper just holds the foot much better, wraps the foot. I feel way more secure in this shoe than the X3. It's kind of a tale of two different shoes though, two different styles of maybe stability, I would say. The X3, the foam is not as much as this, the carbon plate not as energetic, the dual carbon plates that is, not energetic as this kind of stacked carbon plate setup you have here in the Pro 3. So below the upper, I'd say the midsole outsole unit of the X3 feels more stable, but the upper itself of the Pro 3 does have better foothold. I mean, I think it's pretty clear, at least to me. Going a bit of a steep descent here. There's a flat in this descent sandwiched in the middle of two big climbs on the route that I planned out today. So it's the last stretch of down here. Then I have a big climb up to a ridge line, probably up there. If you could kind of see it in the distance, should have some nice views, at least if there's a somewhat open spot up there. Oh, there we go. Head back up. Gulch, Stewart Peak. I'm not going all the way up to the peak, I don't think. I don't want to go too crazy 5 days before the race. This is even a little bit of a stretch as it is, but I'm here. Can't pass it up. Alright, so I've got, according to my route here, 3.3 miles, 1,542 feet till my turnaround, so solid bit of uphill here. So coming back to my shoe choice, the choice between the X3 and the Pro 3 I'm running in today boils down to where do I prefer to have my foot security. In the upper itself, that would be the Pro 3, or kind of underfoot with a more stable ground feel, midsole, plates, outsole. That would be, I think, the X3. Another obvious consideration is weight. The Hoka is just noticeably lighter than the Pro 3 here. Pro 3 seems to have maxed out on everything and didn't really try to shave weight, at least that much. But the Beaverhead route is kind of the main feature of that course is the altitude, the elevation, with it being, I think, majority over 9,000 feet, pretty much the entire way. But you don't have these really kind of massive climbs. They're kind of intermediate rolling climbs along the Continental Divide. So I think that puts the Pro 3's weakness, I guess if you want to call it that, in terms of weight. It makes it a little less prominent in terms of picking shoes here. Another major element is foot protection. That course is so rocky, like crazy rocks along the divide. There's a hellacious boulder field miles long, and then a crazy steep chute of a descent at the very end. I don't think either of these shoes is lacking in protection, but if I had to give a slight edge, I'd give it to the Pro 3 here. There's just objectively more stack underfoot. I feel higher off the ground. I like the softness, and big Vectiv rocker moves it along. Doesn't feel overly bulky, at least, I don't know, for what you're getting here. The other shoe I mentioned, the Prodigio Pro, Foothold definitely trumps both of these shoes, although I think the Pro 3 is very close. But compared to the Tecton X3, the upper, much better fitting, much more secure than that one. I did a full A/B comparison just a few days ago with that shoe against the Mount to Coast T1, and that's kind of made me consider that shoe a little bit for the race. The Foothold is just so good. I mean, if it was, I think, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe a little less rocky, probably give that one more consideration. Kind of just winding around. I'm not sure where I'm gonna stop or end up here, but that course is just so rough on the feet. I did the 50K last year in the normal Chirac, and my feet were wrecked. Just really a poor choice for that race. The Prodigio Pro, of course, is going to give definitely more underfoot protection than the Chirac, but I am going and adding another 50K here this year to my event. Honestly, if I were to do the 50K again, I'd probably do it in the Prodigio Pro without much thought. Or if there was a kind of similar course at 100K, but less rocky underfoot, then I would probably more likely also consider the La Sportiva. But as it stands now, that's really a third option, primarily due to foot protection and cushion. This route is freaking cool. Kind of hugging. Not gonna get to the top of the ridge just yet. Gonna hug on this side of the ridge, head further up there, and then it continues on over the other side, which is beyond my route. I'm not even sure if I'll go all the way. It's supposed to be tapering here. So I am gonna cut my route about a mile and a half short here. I really shouldn't push it. I really should be smart and be a little careful 5 days before the race. So I think my route continues along there and then somewhere passes over where I was gonna turn around anyway. So it's a mile and a half. Doesn't look like too far up, but good amount more climbing, and I don't know, over an hour in so far. So I did cover 6.3 miles and an hour 13, 3,000 feet of elevation gain when I made my turnaround there. So I must have been somewhat close to the top, but good enough for today. I did make the decision on the way up there that I'm gonna jump the queue a little and release this video on Saturday morning, the day of the race. So as you're seeing this, if you're watching it on the release day, I will be somewhere on the Continental Divide. The race does start something crazy like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. They don't want you up there in some of the worst parts during the night later on in the day, so crazy early start. So I'll be up on the Continental Divide somewhere as you're watching this and learning about what shoe I have on my feet up there. This shoe feels so great on this type of moderate grade, moderate rockiness type of terrain. That Dream Foam just really eats it up. Like I feel nothing underfoot, and if I land right in the middle center of that kind of Vectiv rocker, it does feel like I could feel the plate or the plates loading and almost really springing forward. It is a little kind of tricky going downhill. I feel like it's almost launching me forward. I mean, a lot of the course I think is similar to this type of grade. Probably at least this rocky, probably more, except for that obvious final crazy steep descent. But it's one of those things where you just deal with it when you get to it. It's going to be very advantageous if you had this shoe on to just roll through some of those moderate rocky grade descents and just really not have that take that much out of your legs and your feet. So that little steep descent on the way out is now a steep climb for about 4/10 of a mile. Doesn't hurt here to hike a little. I will mention that I did bring the On Cloud Ultra Pro with me on this trip, and in case you're wondering why I'm not thinking about that shoe, I think between that one, the X3, and the Pro 3, that one's the most suited to a more runnable course. I believe it's the narrowest platform, definitely narrower than the North Face here. Might be close to the X3, but it does ride a bit taller than both of these shoes. I mean, this one's quite high stack underfoot right now, but it has like an extreme width under the forefoot to kind of balance that out. The Cloud Ultra Pro is almost as high, but doesn't have that extreme width. Of course, it's lighter, but I just think it's gonna be too rocky on that course for that shoe, so I never really considered it. And I also just ran 100K in it, so might as well try something different. So I am strongly leaning towards racing in the North Face Vectiv Pro 3. I'm not going to say the decision is 100%. Still do have 4 days, and I've been known to make rash last-second decisions. We shall see. Bit of a flat here before the big descent to close out this run. Maybe something will go haywire along the way, and I'll change my mind. We'll see. So if you're watching this video on Saturday, I am somewhere out on the Continental Divide. I'm going to put my final shoe pick in the video description here, so check down below just to see what my final choice was. If you're out there racing at Beaverhead, good luck to you. If you're at another race somewhere, also good luck to you. Or if you're just enjoying a day out on beautiful trails, as I am here in Montana, I hope you also enjoy your day out there. I'll see you at the next video. If you are enjoying the views, don't tune out just yet. Maybe just hang in there and enjoy some footage from my final descent. Missed the turn again. Gosh. There we go. Obviously, the steeper it gets, both up and down, you know, on the up, the weight is a factor in the shoe, and on the descents, this high stack bounciness plate action is going to be more difficult to manage, but I think it's an acceptable trade-off to have to manage that for what it's giving me back in the more moderate sections. Like right now, I'm just cruising, no effort, no impact, flying down here. The shoe is fun. Again, go back and check my previous video if you want to see this shoe in action in a lot more rugged terrain. McKinnick Trail over in Sandpoint. That is a kind of scenario and terrain where I'd be more leery about running this shoe if it was majority like that trail was. Okay, yeah, that's a bear. Brown bear. It's going that way. Let me wait a second. Okay. Hey, bear. Okay. just gonna walk this little switchback here. He went beyond the switchback. He or she went beyond the switchback. I'm gonna book it after this corner. See you later. 99% sure that was a brown bear, not a grizzly. They don't really want to mess with people. There was a brown bear at the second left-hand switchback.
Okay.
Not this one, the next one, but he went through the switchback up that way.
Okay.
There's a bunch of logs on the ground. He went straight. And
Straight that way.
the trail makes a U-turn the second one.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Just keep an eye out.